Is it fine now?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Uh, before uh, before jumping into changes, we just let us know about overview of SAP S4HANA. Like S4HANA, what is the S4HANA? S4HANA stands for it is the abbreviation of SAP Business Suite for HANA, SAP HANA. Like which means like in S4HANA only works supports for the S4HANA database only. That is the main important thing here. In ECC, ECC, we can use any database like Oracle, IBM, or Microsoft. Any other databases we can use for ECC. But S4HANA only supports for HANA database. This is the major change. Why it is happening means S4HANA rebuilt the complete ERP solution. So and they started developing the application which is only suitable for S4HANA. That is why we are facing this change happened. As we all know, in ECC we used to follow SAP methodology for developing for for implementation project. We have different phases: project preparation, blueprinting, realization, final preparation, and go live. Whereas in S4HANA, we follow the activate methodology. SAP recommended this methodology because it is, if you compare with the ECC and S4HANA, we like SAP methodology completely depends on the waterfall methodology. If anybody heard about waterfall methodology and agile methodology, if they know about these terms, they can identify the changes easily. In waterfall methodology, normally what happens, step by step we have to follow the steps. We cannot adopt the changes in between. Like for example, if we develop the blueprinting, after that we cannot input any changes in between the project. Like once we get the sign up from the customer for the blueprinting, we don't do any changes. But in case of the agile methodology, like activate methodology, which follows agile methodology, like in agile methodology, what happens, the uh, the development will happen in a smaller chunks. Like for example, if we take SAP itself, in SAP, um, in SAP, in ECC, we do the development. Like for example, in the team there are 5 or 4 SAP consultants. In that case, every person will take one module, one sub module. Like one person will uh, configure the enterprise structure, and another person will configure the AR, and another person will take the asset accounting, something like that. But in case of the agile methodology, what happens, everybody will work on the same one module. Like first they take enterprise structure, everybody will do work on the same things. But after after completing that part, what happens, we have to give the demo to the customer. Then customer will validate and give the go for the next step. Then only we can go for the we can implement the start implementing the next module, like AP. After that, all the people will work on one module. Got my point? That is the difference between agile approach and waterfall approach. In case of the, are you able to follow me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yes, yes. We can.
Okay. If anybody don't understand, you just stop me and ask me. Okay, I can repeat. Okay, in this activate methodology, we follow like we have different phases: discover phase, uh, prepare phase, explore phase, realize phase, deploy phase, run phase. These are similar to the ASAP methodology, but few phases are common, but a few terminology and the approach is bit different. The first one is discover phase. In the discover phase, the high level meetings will happen and the strategy and roadmap will be designed. Like high level people will think what is the benefit of this implementation, and how can we carry over this implementation. What would be the timeline? All high level activities would happen in the discover phase, whether what kind of benefits we are getting by implementing this, in terms of the cost, in terms of the manpower. These kind of things will be evaluated in the discover phase. In the preparation phase, it is we are nothing to do with this. It is all high level activities. In the preparation phase, once they decide the strategy and everything, they will get into the next phase of the project. In this preparation phase, what happens? All the project planning, like whatever the uh, uh, project preparation activities happens in SAP methodology, the kind of activities will be happens in this preparation phase also. Like scope will be defined, and project team will be gathered. Project planning will happen, and who are the spokes, we like for business teams and consultants. Between business teams, if they business team have any concerns, they should contact one person, uh, like one spoke. They will not interact with everybody in the team. So that person is called a spock. So which team, and we are also, we will not interact with all the business teams. The like a kind of team lead, or one whatever the spock is there, we will contact them. They will gather the information from their teams, and sometimes if required, we will directly interact with the other team members. Otherwise, they will gather the information for us, whatever needed. Or else they will ask us to contact the other people. They give the name for a particular person to gather the information, then we interact with them. That will happen. So the those kind of high level activities will happen: whom to contact, and what is the team size, mm, this project planning, when to start and when to end, how many phases are there. These kind of things will happen in the preparation phase. Next, explore phase. In the explore phase, all workshops will happen with the business teams. Like what are all the requirements if a customer is facing any challenge with the existing system, or fit gap analysis. All actions will be, if there are any enhancements, customizations needed, and any kind of evaluations will be done in exploration or exploration phase. In terms of the, for example, if they are using SAP in ECC versions, in that case we evaluate, we explore the system, what are all the settings uh, they are using in the existing system. Like there are some um, uh, conditions, preconditions, that in the older versions should have some Unicode. That kind of technical stuff is there. So those those conditions are the existing system is capable to meet that conditions or not. We have to evaluate all those things in this exploration phase. If it is directly we are implementing greenfield implementation, then we whether it is feasible for the like interfaces, how many interfaces are there, and what kind of systems they are using, whether it is able to, it's a kind of blueprinting phase only. Whatever we do, those kind of activities will happen in the exploration phase. After that, we enter into the realization phase. In the realization phase, as we all know, whatever the activities we used to do in ECC, the same activities we'll do in S4HANA as well, like configuring the system and setting the system. In case of, as I already specified, if it is a conversion project from ECC to S4HANA conversion project, in that case, what happens? For example, if the customer is using ECC from past 15 years, in that case, we need not to migrate all the data from ECC to S4HANA. So customer will decide from past 5 years or 10 years data, we will migrate into the new system. Remaining data will be archived or something, they stored in somewhere, or else they can remove some unused customers or vendor data. Those kind of data cleansing will happen. I mean, data cleansing activities will happen in this realization phase as well, if it is a migration project. Next, deployment phase is nothing but like we give the individual training, all testings will happen, and it is more or like a final preparation. Once all activities are completed, we do some mock runs, whether environment is supporting, system is working as per the requirement or not. We perform all the mock runs, and it's more or like a final preparation. We do all cutover activities, we complete, then we like it is a the we move the settings in all the configurations into the production server. It is like a go live. After deployment is, it's like a go live only. Then after that, we give some hypercare for some time. Based on the agreement, we give some 6 months or 3 months, whatever it is. The support we will give the support. After that, I mean, whoever the like supporting partner, if it might be the same company or a different company, if it is in case of the different company, we have to hand over the things to the other I mean, who customer. Or else, if we are giving the support, then we will carry it, will become like a support project, not it will not it will be implementation project. Implementation is over, and things are normal, system is stable, then it is running smoothly. That's it in the run phase. These are all the activities which contains the activate methodology. Okay. And when it comes to the system changes, the major thing is ECC table. Why SAP has introduced this ECC table means there is a lot of data redundancy. To reduce the data redundancy, SAP has introduced this ECC table, and this table has replaced with all line items tables, totals tables, and index tables. These are all the tables replaced by the ECC table, like BSIS, BSAS, Flaggle Flex T, Flaggle Flex P, for planning data, totals data, and BSIK, BSAK, BSID, BSAD for vendor line items, customer line items. These all tables replaced by the ECC table. And the next one is the next one is general ledger account and the cost element got merged, which means As we all know, secondary cost element is a part of GL creation now. We cannot use KA01, KA02, KA03, and KA06 transaction codes. If we click in the transaction field, if we give this transaction code also, system will divert you to FS00 transaction code. There only we can create the all kind of cost elements and GL accounts, everything, primary cost elements, secondary cost elements, GL accounts, whatever it is. So they all merged. But the thing is that whenever we create in ECC, whenever we create a GL account, the data would be stored in the SKA1 and SKB1. And whenever we create a secondary cost element by using KA01, KA02, these transaction code, the data, master data would be stored under CSKA, CSKB tables. But now also, the data stored under these tables only for the secondary cost elements and normal GL accounts. But only thing is there is no more use of transaction code, KA01 transaction code. And the next one is here. In ECC, we didn't have this account type option. Whatever the account groups we create in the OBD4, those account groups we give directly, and then we create the GL account. But here in S4HANA, SAP introduced account type. Account types are like and we had in ECC, we had here we have to choose whether it is a balance sheet account or P&L account. That's it. There were two options, but now here SAP has given four options, like balance sheet account and primary cost element, secondary cost element, and non-operating expenses. I hope all are aware of these categories. And the next one. Okay, here in the under the control data, in ECC we had line item management option, but in S4HANA it is a default for all accounts. We need not to specifically select that manage line item option. And here one more thing, if you select this here, if you select the account type as secondary cost element, in that case you have to give I don't have the screen, I captured from somewhere, so excuse me, you can Google it. Okay, here after sort key you can find a field called like a cost element category. There we have to give the cost element category, or if anyone have the HANA system, they can show after this session. Okay. And the next one is periods. In OB52, in ECC, we had only two periods, normal periods and special periods, right? As we all aware of this. But in SAP, we have extra periods, extra column for a third period. SAP introduced a third period for third period. This is used for the control the transactions. I mean that the values which flows from controlling to finance. We can restrict those values by using these periods. It will control that. And the next one is foreign currency valuation. In ECC, we use FAGL_FCVAL transaction code for foreign currency valuation. We perform this activity every month end. So, but in S4HANA, we use FAGL_FCV transaction code for this activity. And also the major changes currencies. In ECC, we can use only 3 parallel currencies, whereas company code currency, group currency, like this. Here, company code currency, group currency, and hard currency. Okay, like this. This is the screen. But whereas in S4HANA, we can use up to 10 currencies. Along with company code currency and group currency, we can maintain other 8 parallel currencies. We can configure if based on the requirement. And moreover, in S4HANA, we maintain ledgers and currencies in the different transaction codes, where here we maintain the currencies, right? But in S4HANA, we use this transaction code, FIN_SC_ledger, this transaction code for ledgers as well as the currencies. Both we can configure under this transaction code. I will show the screens below. Yeah, this is the transaction code. Here we can configure the currencies and ledgers as well. We create the currencies and then we assign the ledgers. We assign them to ledgers, and we finally we assign these ledgers to our company code. And here one more thing, in ECC we have leading ledger and non-leading ledger. Only 2 ledgers were there, but in S4HANA we have additional ledgers like simulation ledger and appendix ledger. This simulation ledger is used for foreign currency revaluation. Like for example, whenever we want to post a GL transaction, FB50 or FB60, whenever we are posting any transaction, we simulate the transaction and we can see before saving the transaction into the system. So similarly, we can, whenever we want to do, we want to see any kind of foreign currency valuations, we need not to wait until the period end. We can, by using simulation ledger, we can check whether there is a realized gain or realized loss, that kind of stuff. If we want to check, we can check those values under the simulation ledger. And appendix ledger, similarly, like this appendix ledger is used for CO, for like if we want to see some different kind of valuations. In that case, they use with different combinations. In that case, they use appendix ledger or prediction ledger. And the next one is BP. In ECC, we used to create vendor separately and customer separately. But in S4HANA, we use only BP transaction code. Under BP, we can under business partner, we have different roles. One business partner will have multiple roles. By using BP rules, we use vendor, we create vendor and customer, but the master data would be same for vendor and customer. If the customer is having having both the roles, if for example, like in vendor in ECC, if we the same vendor is also a customer, in that case in that case we need to do some settings for the in the vendor master and customer master, small settings to clear to clear the payment against each other. But here both are represented with the BP number. We can treat them as a one BP, but under that we can create vendor role separately and the customer role separately. And there is no these FK01, XK01, FD01 and XD01, these transaction codes are absolute. There is no use of these transaction codes in S4HANA. See here, you can see if you select the BP role, based on this, you can categorize. Here, if you, in this same drop down, you can see customer role as well. Like FLUC, that number is something is there. And more here we can specify like whether it is a vendor for only finance, or vendor for even purchasing also. In that case, we have to select something like FLBN01. So if we have the real system, we can check that. Which means, like, for example, if the customer is giving some kind of services to providing some kind of services, only services, uh, in that case we can create that vendor in finance only. We need not to create in in So in that case, we can select this. If we are purchasing any kind of raw materials or some that kind of stuff which is related to then we can extend the same vendor to purchasing also. Only creation has been changed, but the segments are same. Like whenever we create a customer or vendor, we have different data, right? General data, company code data, and purchasing data. So if the customer belongs to only FI, then customer will have only general data and company code data. If customer also belongs to purchasing, in that case, the vendor will have purchasing data as well. Similarly in S4HANA also. So next, coming to asset accounting. So in asset accounting, these are the line items table: ANEK, ANEP, ANEA, ANLP, ANLC. These are all the tables replaced by the AC DOCA table. Here the important thing is asset accounting parallel valuation. Here the parallel valuation is like whenever we post any okay, if we want to generate the reports in asset accounting, if we want to generate the reports in multiple currencies and multiple based on the multiple accounting principles for the reporting purpose, in that case, earlier what happened, we can maintain one book depreciation only as for real-time posting. But now in S4HANA, we can maintain more than one depreciation area for real-time posting. This is one. Here only 3 areas are there, but here we can see we can maintain if we want. If here only tax depreciation, group depreciation is there. If we have if we are maintaining depreciation area for other accounting principle like IFRS or US GAAP or something, then you can maintain another area also as a real-time depreciation, post in real time. That facility we have, so that the values will post to all the ledgers immediately. In ECC, what happened? Here we maintain only book depreciation for real-time posting. Then what happens every period, and we have to perform certain reconciliation activities. So the remaining values, we used to maintain this delta depreciation areas. But due to this real-time posting, we need not to. For example, what happens, for example, if we post As per the Indian gap and US gap, the asset value calculated differently. Asset depreciation will calculate differently. In that case, what happens? Whatever the value is applicable to this local valuation, those values will be posted immediately as per the local gap. Here, actually, this depreciation is created as per the local gap. So, and it is also linked with the zero ledger. So, all the postings, whatever the postings we do, it is updated to the zero ledger. But month ending, we execute some activity, we execute some transaction. I forgot to mention that the transaction code ASKB, some transaction code is, but I forgot that we execute that for example, as per the local gap, the value of the asset depreciation is 1,000 rupees. For other gap, it would be like 1,200. In that case, what happens? 1,000 here, the system will update in the system 1,000 in all the ledgers. That 200 extra 200 will be updated in the captured in the delta depreciation areas. For that purpose, we used to maintain the depreciation areas, delta depreciation areas in ECC. And month ending, when we execute that particular transaction code, system, these values will be transferred to the other ledger. But here in ECC, as we can maintain real-time postings for more than one depreciation area, the values directly will post to the ledgers. So we need not to maintain any this delta depreciation areas. And moreover, we can assign directly accounting principle to each depreciation area. Earlier, we assign only depreciation, ledger group to the depreciation areas. I mean, if we in real time, in the system, if you double click on this, you can see some more settings behind this screen. So you can find out those things. And also technical clearing account. I'm sorry, I couldn't gather more information on this. I didn't have sufficient time. Okay, technical clearing account. In this technical clearing account, what happens whenever we post a transaction in S4HANA only, we can see this technical clearing account. This is whenever we post the transaction, system will split the transactions into two parts. Like in ECC system, when we acquire an asset, we post the transaction like asset accounting data to vendor account. But here system split the line, this vendor account and asset account, as this is the operation part and this is the valuation part. In the operation part, what happens? This vendor amount is same for all the ledgers. So when system split the this transaction, this value will be posted to all the ledgers immediately, because it is common for everything, every ledger, every accounting principle, sorry. So, but valuation part would be different for each ledger. According to one accounting principle, the value would be different, and another accounting principle value would be different. So in that case, system will calculate the amount according to the accounting principle and post to the respective ledger. That is to do this technical clearing account will help. It is more like a intermediate account. However, we are using GRIR account. No, similarly, we are using technical clearing account here. So for that, to configure that in the system, we have to assign one technical, create and assign one technical clearing account against the chart of accounts. Then whenever we post the transaction, system automatically picks that account and split the line item like this. And one more thing in the asset accounting is in the AFAB, whenever we execute the depreciation at the period end, in ECC version, we can say repeat depreciation, repeat run, and there are 4-5 options. Rerun, repeat run, periodic run. So one more is there. So those options are not there in S4HANA. And the next one is final one is LTMC. As we discussed about LTMC yesterday, so I need not to explain much about it. LTMC stands for Legacy Transfer Migration Cockpit, which is used to migrate the data, legacy data, into the SAP S4HANA system. So basically, we can use LTMC transaction code to operate this. In this, what happens, the file objects are already predefined by the SAP system. We need not to create any objects. We can directly download the file, and we have to update the file, then we can upload the file into the system. I hope everybody aware of this, as yesterday it was explained by Vinay. So these are the steps: upload the file, activate the file, and transfer the file, data validation, convert the values, simulate the values, and execute and import. And we can check those values afterwards in the respective transaction code. Yeah, that's it. Okay, here few of the advantages of the business partner in S4HANA. A legal entity is represented with one business partner, which means one company represent with one business partner. One business partner can perform multiple roles, like as we already discussed customer and vendor, and any other roles. And we can also maintain the personal status of the business partner, either he's married or contact person. Any details we can maintain in S4HANA. One business partner can have multiple addresses, like shipping address, billing address, and any other. For head office, they can use different address. For shipping, they use different address. For billing, they can use different address. In S4HANA, in ECC, we didn't have that option. We had only one option to maintain the address. But now here in S4HANA, SAP provided to maintain option to provide maintain multiple addresses for the vendor or business partner. It is basically to harmonize the architecture. So like by using vendor BP number, we can maintain the data. We can remove the data inconsistency. That is the main purpose. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, nice presentation, Sarojini. Yeah, if anyone have interested